What's up, guys? Your boy Yo checking in. Look, today we're gonna talk about El Salvador. El Salvador. I'm fresh out the country, and I want to tell you why not to waste your time in El Salvador. We're gonna do that by going over the 7 things I wish I knew beforehand, so I didn't waste so much time trying to figure it out. You guys know San Salvador, El Salvador has had a pretty bad reputation over the last couple years with the crime and the gangs and the drugs and all that stuff. So today we're gonna go over some things that you may not be able to find online. We're gonna go over the real life experience. So you ready? All right, let's do it. Guys, number one on the list is visa and arrival. So first thing first, if you're from the US or a lot of other non-Latin American countries, and even some Latin American countries, you'll want to check if you'll need a visa to enter El Salvador. Now look guys, it's not that big of a deal because it's actually a visa on arrival. That means you can get one when you come, but you do want to know some things to kind of make the process a little smoother. Now, the first thing you're going to want to know is that there's a separate line for the visa as opposed to immigration. And the line for the visa is the one you want to get on first, so you don't end up wasting your time on the immigration line, getting to the immigration agent, and them asking for your visa and you not having it. So you first want to go to this booth right here. Make sure you have $12. Doesn't have to be $12 exactly. It could be $20. They'll have change. So all good. Also, a quick side note: El Salvador uses the U.S. dollar, so they'll be able to give you change in the U.S. dollar. All right. So once you get that, you want to actually go to the immigration line. Now, this line for me was pretty fast. I want to really commend that the staff in the El Salvador airport, they have this on lock. There's a bunch of agents. It went pretty smoothly, so should be no problem there. Now, once you get out the airport, you want to kind of know where you'll be staying in El Salvador. Why do I say that? Well, the airport is kind of in a real remote area. So, for example, I went to San Salvador and I was like a 40 to 50-minute ride. Now, if I didn't know that beforehand, that could really cause you to waste some time of your day, right? Because you were thinking that you're gonna start your day at 2. Now you gotta go find an Uber, take the Uber, get to the Airbnb, and that pushes your whole day back. So make sure you have that in your itinerary, in your plan, whatever time it is. If you're going to San Salvador, block off an hour that will be transportation time, and especially if you're arriving late, things like that could really be a big inconvenience. So make sure you have that, and of course, make sure you have your money, your apps, whatever you need. If you take an Uber, Uber is available, but of course, you want to have all this stuff downloaded beforehand so you're not scrambling at the airport trying to figure out how you're going to get to the area that you need to go to. All right. In that same category is kind of where you're going to stay, right? So it's important to do your research where you want to stay in El Salvador, and specifically San Salvador. Just like we talked about, San Salvador is pretty new to tourists. So you want to make sure you're staying in tourist areas and you're not ending up in certain parts of the city that you shouldn't be in. So you want to make sure beforehand you look up the area, make sure it's good, make sure it's safe, make sure it's a place that you want to be. Me personally, I'll recommend San Benito if you're like a first time traveler. I didn't stay there, but I do have a video walking around the neighborhood. It's awesome. It's a great place for if you're a new traveler, if you don't have much experience. Also, you could go to Santa Elena, which is another area. It's nice area, nice hotel, nice accommodations, restaurants, everything you'll need. And one of the main reasons why you want to stay in these areas because they're not too far from the biggest attractions in the city, which would be like the city center and the different neighborhoods like Santa Tecla. You could kind of get to those pretty easily from those areas. So I think it's pretty important that you pay attention to where you're staying because it will make a big difference, especially when we get to like point number 5 or 6. But just on that point, make sure you do that research. Airbnb is available, but of course, just make sure you have everything just really lined up and ready to go. All right, sticking with the idea of safety, right? A lot of people want to know, is El Salvador safe? Is San Salvador safe? El Salvador for a long time has had this muddy reputation, like I said, with the drugs and all of that stuff, the gang war. So for a long time, people have just ran to the beaches if they've come there, or look to go surfing, or to little party towns. But I think San Salvador, where I stay, is coming to its own. They have a new president. They got a lot of stuff going on. So I guess you guys want to know the golden question: is it safe or is it not safe? And I would say San Salvador felt very safe. The city is full with cops, literally every corner. There were guards. For me, it felt a little too safe. I get a little nervous when I see so many cops, but I did feel safe. Of course, that doesn't mean that the entire San Salvador is safe. I'm sure there's some neighborhoods that don't have such a police presence, but that's why I said in the last point, do your research. Two areas I can say that you could definitely travel around to, because I'm sure you guys want to know what is it to do, where to go. Like I said, Santa Tecla and Antigua Cascalen. I probably butchered that, but I'll put the name below. I went to both of those neighborhoods. You guys can check those videos out as well. And you'll see how charming they are. You'll see how inviting they are. They're like literally set up for tourists, and they have some of the best food, some of the best pupusas in the city. So nothing to worry about there. Overall, if I had to give like a rating, I would give San Salvador a solid 7.5 out of 10 on a safety scale. Definitely want to be mindful of your surroundings. Definitely want to keep your head on a swivel. You don't want to be, just walking around like everything is all good and gravy. But I feel like there's a solid effort going out to make sure tourists feel comfortable, make sure the city feels safe. And that's more than I can say about a lot of countries. So just make sure beforehand, like I said, you do that research so you don't end up wasting time wandering or trying to plan when you get there, trying to see if you could go to this area or this area while you're out there. Because, like we said, we don't want to waste our time. Number four, early stages in the tourism process. Like I said, tourism is really, really starting to get amped up, but it's still early. So, one of the bad things about that is the city is still getting accustomed to it. The taxi drivers, the people, you'll get some stares here, you'll get some inconveniences in other places, this, that, and the third. And one of the inconvenience I'm talking about is things like Uber, right? So when I was out there, there was some neighborhoods, I guess, that still aren't Uber friendly. So you want to make sure that before you go into a place, you making sure that you could get back from it. Because some Ubers, if you're in like those neighborhoods, like San Benito, you probably have no trouble getting an Uber, going to a place, but you gotta make sure you're getting back. So that's what happened to me on two different occasions. I went to neighborhoods, hung out there, everything good, everything chill, everything fun. And when it's time to leave, no Uber is accepting me. So now I'm kind of stuck, which which really sucked. Which of course, not only did it waste my time having to wait for the Uber to come, it's dangerous, especially when you're out late at night and nobody is coming to get you. These areas typically don't have like, I want to call them yellow cabs because I'm a New Yorker, but they don't have like these free roaming cabs um, going around. So here's some tips on my behalf when you're having trouble getting Uber home. And this can apply to other places as well. But one thing you want to might try is changing the card option to cash in Uber. I know a lot of Americans, we just always have that card option. So we have a card in, hop in Uber, hop out. We don't even think about handing over cash or anything, because for us, that's how it's intended to work. But in these Latin countries, a lot of Ubers accept cash. You just gotta press the cash option, and then you pay them when you're getting out. So that's one way. I think most drivers prefer that instead of getting paid through the app, that you give them cash. So I think they'll be more willing to take the trip if it's cash, because it's like an instant thing. Next is toggling between the Uber options. So you want to make sure that you're not just going on the regular Uber. I don't even know the regular Uber option, but you want to try, if the regular Uber option isn't working, you want to try Uber XL or Uber Comfort, or I wouldn't say Uber Black, but one of those others. Usually like three options, And then I mean it's gonna be a couple more bucks for those, but I mean I think those options have less demand, so you're more willing to get picked up. And my last suggestion is just to do a test trial before you go out. So if you're leaving your hotel and you're going to another neighborhood, put that neighborhood as if you're there, and then put your address as the point you're going to, and see how fast the Uber or a car comes or to accept your request. That way you'll know how easy or how hard it will be to get home. Because like I said, it's really dangerous. I mean, you're gonna end up um, sitting there and waiting and hoping somebody picks up your taxi, and that's not fun at all. So just something for you to keep in mind. Wow. Okay, number five, prices. Now, El Salvador, it uses the good old US dollar. And anybody who watch my videos know I'm not a fan of countries that use the US dollar. I can honestly skip all of them. I haven't had any great experience in any country that uses the US dollar. All right. So you just start off with that. Now, El Salvador. We saw how expensive the country could get. If you guys see my first video, our first day, I went to the supermarket. Everything was crazy. Everything was crazy. I'm talking about $11 for freaking uh, tomato sauce. It was intense, right? Then you guys see my other video where I did $5 in the marketplace, and I was able to get like I don't know how many things. They had water for 15 cents, juice for 35 cents. So I couldn't even spend it all. So check that out if you have it. But we got two opposite ends of the spectrum. So how you want to do this? Is it expensive? Is it inexpensive? Well, El Salvador is a place, like most places, that you truly have a lot of control of how you're going to use your money and what to do with your money, and the bang for the buck that you'll get for it. So me, I would say skip the supermarket. Don't be like me, and just go to the outdoor markets to buy everything. For the most part, they're gonna have everything from toothpaste to roach spray. I mean, I hope you don't need it, but you never know, especially if you're out there for a minute. From whatever, they got everything in that market, and a lot of places you'll hear $4, $4, $4. Most things are. It's almost like going to a 99 cent store because they kind of package most things to be $1. So that's just something to keep in mind. And yeah, man, I mean, you get a way more authentic experience, but um, don't waste your time going to that supermarket. Just head to the markets. Row number six, guys, traffic, 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 traffic. This is probably the biggest time waster in San Salvador, right? It's a capital city. It's full of people. Everything kind of revolves around the historic center. So if you're going in that direction, you're gonna get hit with a lot of traffic, and traffic makes an extremely big difference. I noticed when I would go out in the afternoon, my commute when I would go to the city center or the historic center, it would be like 35 minutes. But then I'm thinking like, yo, I can't be that far because I wouldn't even put a hotel that far. I wouldn't even be staying somewhere that far. So I'm like, what is going on here? Then I realized it was mostly like 20 minutes of traffic. Without the traffic, it would have been 15 minutes. So it's super important to kind of put yourself a little closer to those areas that you want to visit, so you don't have to travel so far, back and forth. But also, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the time that you're traveling, because like traveling before like 10 a.m. makes a huge difference versus traveling midday, 1, 2, 3 p.m. and then traveling after like 7 p.m. makes a huge difference. So if you could kind of sketch your plan around those hours, you're gonna save a lot of time. Not going through that traffic jam and dealing with that. So that's number six. Numero siete, number seven, guys, and this is gonna be the last one. I just threw this in there because it was frustrating for me. Found myself having to constantly run to the bathroom, wash my hands, run back to the thing, wasting time. And if I had my sanitizer or some type of alcohol, then I could just knocked it out before. But yeah, a lot of the food. in Salvador can be eaten with hands, like hand food. The biggest one being pupusas, as you guys know. So you want to make sure you have some hand sanitizer or some type of hand gel or something that could clean your hands easily so you don't have to keep going back. I know it seemed like a petty thing, but you will thank me. You will thank me. You will think about me. Right before you eat, you will think about me. I will cross your mind. You will be like, dang, El Checking is really a real dude. Because now instead of having to get up and go and wash my hands, I could just eat. Just enjoy the pupusa. And that's all I wanted to do anyway. So make sure you carry that with you. All right, guys, this is a quick one. This is just 7 things off the top of my dome with mistakes and everything. Just getting it to you guys because I know, look, El Salvador may not be everybody's vibe, right? I didn't do a trillion views on the videos, but I really don't do it for that. I do it for the maybe the one person or two people who always wanted to go to a country and they can't find any information out on it or information from somebody that looks like them. So, or information in general. Um, so I hope you guys like this series. If you didn't see the series, go check it out. El Salvador, San Salvador is amazing. Tourism is coming. They got some great leadership. They got some great plans. Um, and I just hope that people go and enjoy the country because it's a special country. So anyway, look, like I'm subscribe, you will checking, you know the name, you know the face. We here, I'm on YouTube. Not a YouTuber like that, but I'll be doing some YouTube stuff. See you guys later. I'm out. What's up, guys? If you like the shirt you see me wearing in this video or any of my other videos, check out the description box below to get yours.